Radio Play Comics is meant to adapt the stories mostly of great unadapted old and forgotten comics from the past. I use voice acting and narration to abridge the work as much as possible without lessening its impact, and to bring these stories to life the best way I can. Please enjoy. Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to the Fusion Space for today's episode of Radio Play Comics, Green Lantern, Flash, Faster Friends. This is meant to accompany my recent episode covering the beginning of JLA in 1997, written by Grant Morrison with art by Howard Porter. In issue 4 of JLA, Green Lantern Kyle Rayner and Wally West, the Flash, are combative and dislike each other. Yet by issue 5, they're hanging out together and playing games for fun. So you might well wonder, what happened? Well, what happened is Faster Friends. Faster Friends is a two-part prestige format special, and these books littered the 90s, as they could be quickly produced to capitalize on swings in popularity and to supplement ongoing titles. That's why this book has so many creators listed, so all the work could be done at the same time. However, this does not directly tie into JLA, and can be enjoyed as a standalone team-up adventure as well. It merely provides context for JLA readers at the same time for why the Flash and Green Lantern's friendship changed. And there is a long-running historical precedent for that friendship, forged during the Silver Age, when Green Lantern Hal Jordan and the Flash Barry Allen were often thrown together simply because both heroes were being written by the same writers at the time, Gardner Fox and John Broome. However, at this time in the 90s, both Hal and Barry were out of action, Barry having joined with the Speed Force during Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Hal having become Parallax, and recently having sacrificed himself to stop the Sun Eater during the final night. So this story will instead guest star both the Golden Age Flash and Green Lantern, Jay Garrick and Alan Scott. Both had retired during Zero Hour following the deaths of the other JSA members at the hands of Extant, but since then Alan Scott had been given new youth by his magical power source, the Starheart, and Jay had been helping out in Wally West's adventures, such as Terminal Velocity, ever since. Faster Friends begins by relating a Golden Age adventure G.L. Alan Scott and Flash Jay Garrick had during the 1950s concerning a crashed alien ship and its occupant, which they helped subdue and capture. This doesn't seem to be a real Golden Age story, rather it's meant to stand in for their adventures as a whole, and its events lead into our story in the modern day. That alien has been experimented on ever since, and now that it is finally dying, it wants revenge on its military captors, the heroes it fought, and their entire world. And, as if that wasn't enough to deal with, Jay Garrick is hiding his own failing health from his friends and family, and seems to be running his final race himself. When Alan and Jay disappear, kidnapped by the alien, their wives contact Wally and Kyle, and the two young heroes will be forced to work together to find and rescue their forebears, despite their personal problems with each other. Then, in Part 2, the young heroes travel to an alien world, scrambling their identities for a bit, and then both Flashes and Green Lanterns must deal with the aliens' true vengeance, as portals open up all over the world and allow waves of mindless creatures to swarm out and attack. The rest of the JLA can handle the world at first, but can Wally and Kyle learn from Jay and Alan's example and work together to stop the invasion at the source before it's too late? Find out in Green Lantern, Flash, Faster Friends. Part 1. Decades ago, a callous government forced a ring-wielding Guardian and a Scarlet Speedster to team up against an alien menace. Green Lantern and Flash put their differences aside and discovered the enemy sometimes does not come from without. The friendship formed that day has spanned the years. Now that same alien has abducted the Golden Age heroes. The new Green Lantern and Flash must join forces to save their original counterparts, even if it means defeating them, and hopefully the world, if they can only get along for 5 minutes. Prologue. Alien X regains consciousness on an operating table, as it has done many times before, and hears from the scientists that, after nearly 50 years of experiments, it has perhaps 3 months left to live. The scientists take off their suits and leave the alien to its own devices, arguing over who has to tell their boss that his prized subject will soon be no more. General Gunther stews in his office late at night. Storm coming. Through his glass, he sees a visitor enter.
Hello, Gunther.
He drops it in alarm.
You can talk. How did you get out of the lockdown? I could have done so any time I wished. All these years, I could have simply left. You did not know that, did you? Then why didn't you? Because the time you have kept me here is nothing. Not in terms of the lifespan of my kind. I believed you would eventually tire of poking my body and probing my mind. I believed you would release me. All this would have been a forgotten fraction of my life. My patience was foolish. Your barbaric experiments have ravaged my body with disease. I, who should live thousands more of your years, will be no more in only a few months. You have killed me. It wasn't planned. We were only protecting national security. I fell to your world by accident. I meant no harm. Mine is a gentle race, unless provoked. I can appreciate your position. I can. And I'm not an unreasonable man. Maybe it's time your stay here is reconsidered.
General Gunther pulls a handgun from his desk.
Or not. I don't know how you got out of your cage, freak, but you're turning around and going right back to it. I've kept a lid on you for 5 decades. I'm not about to have you wind up on Oprah telling your sorry little story. Move, or you won't need to worry about having a few more months to live. I will die, but not yet, and not alone.
Alien X's eyes glow with energy.
What are you doing? I feel your eyes inside my mind. Don't.
And General Gunther puts his gun into his own mouth. End prologue. Chapter 1. A regular evening in Gotham City finds a family being held up by muggers in an alley.
Come on, baby, get with the goods. You too, Dad. Watch and Wally.
Please, just don't hurt our son.
Hurry it up, Johnny. We need to do this fast. You never know. He could be around. How many times I gotta tell you? That guy's just a urban legend. He ain't real. He don't exist.
Suddenly, they all look up in surprise.
Oh, it's him!
Alan Scott, Earth's original Green Lantern, floats in the air above them. No, it's the other him. Green Lantern. A skeletal horseman bursts from his hand.
Shh. Run!
Oh man, oh gee! It swings a mace, knocking out the muggers.
Thank you. You saved our lives. You're not Batman?
Nope. I was doing this when Batman was your age. You don't look it. Thanks. Let's get you folks home. There's a storm coming. The storm rages over a park.
Come on, baby. Mommy'll get us inside before the rain.
Until lightning strikes a tree, tearing off a large branch over a woman and her child.
No! Somebody save my baby!
They are whisked out of the way just in time. By J. Garrick.
The Flash!
At your service.
Thank God. We'd be dead if you hadn't been right there.
Actually, I was on the other side of Central City. But Jay clutches his chest and takes a knee.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'll be fine. It's passing. It always does. Not the first time it's happened. Doctor said it's not worth worrying about. Really, let's get you folks home. There's a storm coming. Later, Alan walks the halls of the Galaxy Broadcasting Corporation building and Memory Lane as he looks over a newspaper headline reading, Green Lantern and the Flash, Fast Friends. over a picture of himself and Jay Garrick.
Look at us, young and strong and ready to save the world. Haven't thought about this in years, but tonight,
Funny how it seems to be on my mind. I wonder. A visitor resolves into being beside him.
my God, Alien X. After all these years, they still called me that. They never bothered trying to understand my real name. You are surprised to see me. You thought I was dead. Soon. But there are things to be done first. You helped them kill me, you know. You and your friend.
What happened 50 years ago was wrong, but Jay and I were naive. We thought we were doing the right... The alien's energy strikes Alan, and he falls.
Now, the other.
As they both vanish, the picture of Alan and Jay lies broken on the floor.
Made it home in one piece. Barely. Looks like maybe I'm finally getting to the end of this race.
After limping home, Jay Garrick sits at his desk.
It's been a good race, though. A few bumps along the way, but I've had a pretty fair career.
He looks at the same clipping that Alan had framed.
There's one I haven't thought about in years. The first time I ever met Alan. He looked about as happy as I did when I snapped. Swell. Storm must have knocked out the power. Better make sure Joan's okay. Then round up a flash.
Just then, Alien X visits him as well.
You! After all this time. That's why I felt I needed to look at the scrapbook. Because of you! You put that in my head, didn't you? I already have the other. You know what I want. The ship.
The same energy hits Jay.
The ship. Fight. Stay.
He scrawls a clue on the newspaper just before he collapses as well. Alan's wife, Molly, finds the broken picture and calls Joan Garrick, who confirms her fear that Jay is also gone. Joan then calls Wally West as Molly calls Kyle Rayner.
Pick up the phone, Kyle.
Hello?
Hello, Wally? I'm afraid there's something wrong.
Don't worry, Joan. It'll be all right. I'll be there. Wally dashes through Joan's door. As soon as I can. What's going on? What happened to Jay?
I think it's... Wally, it's bad. I'm so worried about him.
It's going to be okay. This is Jay we're talking about. He can take care of himself. He's been doing it for years.
That's just it. He has been doing it for years. And I think tonight it came back to haunt him.
What do you mean?
You'd better sit down. There's a story I have to tell you. And I need to start at the beginning.
Joan shows Wally the article. And Jay's warning. It's him. While Molly tells Kyle the same story, Joan tells Wally how, over 50 years ago on another stormy night, a flying saucer crashed near Gotham City. People call the authorities when they see an alien emerge, and soon the government enlists Mystery Men Flash and Green Lantern to intervene.
Truthfully, neither one was very happy about it, mostly because both of them felt they didn't need any help. Heroes were a new thing then. They didn't pal around together. They didn't team up. But now Alan and Jay were practically being forced. The officer in charge, his name was Gunther. Jay always remembered his name. Was young, eager to prove himself. He told Jay and Alan about the saucer that had crashed the night before. He told them the alien represented a threat to America, to national security. He told them it was their patriotic duty. Maybe this is hard for you to believe, Wally, but there was a time when Americans trusted their government. So off they went, Jay and Alan, convinced they were serving their country.
The heroes find Alien X causing a panic in town. Green Lantern tries to use a lasso, but Alien X stops him with a mind blast. Flash tries punching him at super speed, but he is also overwhelmed by psychic force. Hang on a minute, Molly. This is going on in the middle of Gotham? Why didn't the news ever get out?
It was a more innocent time, Kyle. People saw Alien X defending himself, but later they were told it was a movie, a publicity stunt, anything but the truth. And they believed it. You trusted what a man in uniform told you. Alien X was psychic, I guess you'd call it. He tried to use his mind to take control of Alan and Jay, but they were young and strong. They managed to resist him. Alan and Jay began to work together instead of competing with one another. That was really the start of their friendship, once they'd learned to trust each other. Alien X was no match for them.
Alan hits the alien with a ray gun while Jay makes a whirlwind with his arm.
They captured him, convinced they were doing it for God and country and all that.
Flash carries GL's chain around Alien X, tying it up. Before the heroes can even get a chance to try and talk with it, the alien is scooped up by the troops and carted away for study and imprisonment. Alan and Jay are rudely dismissed by Gunther and the military once their work is done.
Alan and Jay were angry at being treated like pawns, at not being able to see the job through to its end. They felt betrayed.
Alan returns Gunther's angry shove before Jay stops him.
At least they salvaged something by making sure Alien X's spacecraft didn't fall into military hands.
A huge green magnet carries the saucer away.
They buried the ship someplace it wouldn't be found. Alan never told me where exactly, and I know Jay didn't tell his wife. In return for the government's cooperation about the spacecraft, Alan and Jay went along with that ridiculous weather balloon story the military concocted. They read the script and posed for the pictures, and stayed quiet all these years. And now they're paying for it.
Molly finishes telling the story to Kyle. So what are you saying, Molly? You think Alien X somehow came back and took Alan?
And Jay as well. I've already talked to his wife, and we're both convinced that's what happened. It makes sense Alien X wants to get back to his ship. Who knows why? Jay and Alan are the only ones who can lead him to it. All Joan and I have ever known is a general direction. North, somewhere in the Arctic. You won't have to go alone, Kyle. But we're asking you to find them. Bring Alan and Jay back, safe.
Count on it. Green Lantern's ring sparks with his determination. Chapter 2. So this is what she meant by not having to do it alone. Wally West wouldn't be my first choice for a double date. But it's like people just expect us to be a team. Green Lantern and the Flash. The two heroes charge across the icy tundra, almost as if racing one another. He's a speedster. My ring creates anything I can think of. Opposite ends of the spectrum, right? True, Wally and I are in the Justice League together. We're still not what you'd call close, though. But I guess I'm stuck with him. Of course, he's probably thinking the same thing about me. They share a questioning glance before driving on. Alan and Jay, Hal Jordan and Barry Allen. Flashes and Green Lanterns have always been best friends. Until now. First time we met, he comes on like father knows best. Treats me like I'm an utter novice. Which wasn't too far from the truth at the time. So I probably came with an attitude of my own. I remember thinking, what can I learn from a guy who, basically runs fast? I'm sure I gave Wally as much grief as I got. By the end of it all, we at least respected each other. But that's about it. So here we are again. And this time we've got Alan and Jay depending on us. Wally skids to a stop. This isn't working. Kyle lands beside him. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Just wandering around like this looking for them. It's a needle in a haystack. Even if Jay and Alan are in plain sight, we could be searching for days. Can't you use that thing and find Alan somehow? You found Hal when you needed to. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. At least, not that I know of. I found Hal when the sun went out because he was part of the same power source that supplies the ring. Alan's power comes from a different place entirely. Maybe if he was actively using his power, I'd have a chance. But right now, there's nothing. I don't know who you've been talking to, but this thing's not magic, you know. Well, it sure seemed that way when Hal had it. At least he knew how to use it. Cut me some slack, why don't you? I haven't been doing this since I was in diapers. Like some people. That's right, I was a sidekick. I was a titan. I paid my dues. I earned this costume and everything that goes along with it. I didn't have it handed to me like I'd won the lottery. You still hold that against me, don't you? So I didn't pick this job. It picked me. What difference does it make as long as I can do the job? And let me tell you, I'm busting my butt learning how. They both exchange silent glares. This'll go faster if we split up. What a coincidence. I was thinking the same thing. I'll let you know if I find something. GL flies off as Flash speeds away in the other direction. That went well. Had a lot to do with the frustration of coming up empty so far. But still, it just never changes between us. Wally will cover more ground than I will. My best chance of finding them is for Alan to use his power. Elsewhere on the ice, Alien X has brought Jay and Alan to where they buried his ship long ago. They refuse to uncover it unless Alien X plans to leave Earth. They won't be used again to exact his revenge. Unfortunately, though, Jay and Alan are older and weaker than before, and no longer able to resist the aliens' mental control. Soon, Green Lantern's power is used to melt the ice burying the flying saucer. And the alien takes them inside. Wait, I'm getting something. Maybe Alan is using his power, and I actually can pick it up. Come on, concentrate. Track him before it's gone. Hate to admit it, but that jerk in the red suit had the right idea. Alan's energy signature isn't the same, but it's at least in the ballpark. Kyle lands in order to focus. Concentrate. Shut everything else out. Pinpoint him. Got him! Man, Speedy Boy's gonna be burned when I let him know I'm the one who... He is surprised to feel something soft behind him. Hey, where'd the rug come from? Oh, one of those bearskin rugs. With the bear still in it. Kyle stumbles as he turns to face the towering polar bear. My, what big teeth you have. Won't Wally look smug when he finds out I wound up his polar bear food? I won't give him the satisfaction. Or let down Jay and Alan. I think you need to be reminded. You're not the real boss of the North Pole. GL creates a horrifying cross between Santa Claus and the fiery Balrog. And the bear backs off. Kyle flies away with a wave. How about that? For once, it's my concentration that almost gets me killed, not lack of it. Still need to get a signal to Wally. Not that I need him, of course. He sends a green rocket into the sky, which explodes into a flash symbol in fireworks, acting like a flare gun. We're not partners or anything, but, better safe than sorry when Jay and Alan's lives might hang in the balance. I just hope Wally sees it in time to do something about it. Chapter 3. Inside the saucer, Alien X manipulates the controls. What are you planning to do? What's the harm in telling us that much? We're only puppets to you anyway.
Dying is what I am doing. Because of Gunther. Because of you. I am riddled with disease. But I will share my pain.
We understand how you must feel. What we did half a century ago, it was wrong, and what's been done to you since is beyond forgiveness. But if someone has to pay for that, let it be us. No innocents need to be hurt.
Innocence. What would this world know of innocence? What?
It turns when it hears a clanging sound. Wally and Kyle step through a hole he has cut with a torch. Hi, we let ourselves in. At least we always seem to agree when it gets to this point. Cavalry to the rescue. I'm seeing Wally in the Corporal Agarn role, which would make me, that other guy, Forrest Tucker. Don't bother to get up. So that's Alien X. Doesn't look too scary, and let's face it, there's only one of him. Flash and GL start forward.
No, there are 3.
But Alien X controls the Elder Heroes once again.
Please, don't make us.
Jay dashes to Wally and socks him.
We've tried to resist. It's no good.
As Alan flies at Kyle, blasting him with flames.
Forgive us, Kyle.
He must be in Alan and Jay's minds, forcing them to do this. But knowing that doesn't make it any easier to fight them. I don't want to risk hurting Alan. Kyle struggles in the grip of a huge skeletal hand.
Stop this, Alien X!
Just as much as Wally doesn't want to risk hurting Jay, while Wally is beaten down by a tornado of fists.
You have to take us down, Wally.
And the real question is, what's he up to while we're being kept occupied? Kyle! What are we going to do here? Flash grabs the Elder Flash by the arm. Go for the alien. We're supposed to be at war with him, not Alan and Jay. And Kyle cuts off the bony thumb with a chainsaw. I'm on him! Wally dashes towards Alien X. But Alan traps the young Flash in a cage.
He won't let you get close, Wally.
He won't let us let you get close. Jay slams the young lantern into a wall. You can't keep treating us with kid gloves. Don't worry about what happens to me or Alan. We made a horrible mistake a long time ago. We deserve to pay for it. So do whatever you have to. Rapidly punching him now. Just make sure Alien X doesn't carry out his plans. That's all that's important. As the alien continues his work unabated. I've never even met you before, Jay, and it's gotta be like this. I'm sorry. Kyle makes a panther to knock away the Elder Flash. Jay clutches himself in pain. Jay! Jay? My God, what did he do to him? Jay needs help, Alan. I have to get to him. And I can't have you trying to get in my way. Wally spins until he breaks Alan's cage, striking him with part of it. Kyle kneels by Jay. Jay, please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Not you.
One side, Kyle. One Flash speeds to the other. You've done enough already.
Not his fault, Wally. It's just... it'll pass. Always has before. At least the pain helped me break control. Doesn't matter, though. Nothing matters. Not me. Not Alan. Only him. Only stopping him.
Jay puts a hand on each of their shoulders.
Be a team. Like Alan and I were. Like the old days.
Well, you heard the man. Let's go. Right behind you. The young heroes charge together this time. Whatever it is you're doing, you're done.
Not yet. 2 more tasks before I'm done.
Alien X glows with bright energy for a moment. What's this? Hell, I don't know. Just grab the geek. Before Flash tackles him and GL wraps him in an octopus's tentacles. What did you just do? Answer us. The headset, the wires. Why? You launched some kind of bomb or death ray or something?
A message. I simply sent a message into space. A kind of invitation. One final task. Your kind forced the disease upon me. But I can at least have the dignity of choosing the time and place of my end.
The alien glows again. Mind blast! Wally and Kyle are thrown back.
And I chose here and now.
Alien X inputs a final command. That must have triggered a self-destruct. How do we stop it? Forget it. We don't even know how he started it. Let's do what we came here to do. Get Jay and Alan to safety. You get them out. I'll get him. What? This thing's gonna blow. He wants to go with it. Just move, Wally. Hope you know what you're doing. Yeah, That's two of us. Wally picks up the elder heroes as Kyle puts a hand on Alien X's shoulder. Look, I don't know all the details here, but it doesn't have to be this way. If you're dying, we'll get you to doctors, try to find a cure. Come with me. Flash carries Alan and Jay outside.
Huh. Had there been compassion such as yours 50 years ago, perhaps none of this would have happened. But what has been done cannot be undone.
Come on, Kyle.
It is too late for me. Too late for you. Too late for all of us.
The ship explodes, creating a huge mushroom cloud. He didn't make it out.
Wait, there!
A green streak shoots out from the cloud. Kyle! Geez, Wally. Didn't know you cared. How are you, Jay?
Better. It always gets better. What happened in there?
I tried to get him to save himself, but he'd already made his decision. He said it was too late. Too late for all of us. I only wish I knew what he meant. To find out what he meant, check out Flash, Green Lantern, Faster Friends, Part 2, where a new threat looms on the horizon. Part 2. They thought the threat was over, but it had only begun, and it makes strange bedfellows. Trapped in another dimension, the Golden Age Flash teams with the Modern Age Green Lantern and vice versa to solve some very dire problems. Problem 1. An alien invasion is on the verge of taking over the Earth. Problem 2. The younger heroes seem to have switched powers, if not identities. Problem 3. One hero may be running his final race. Wally West races to the hospital with his fiancée, Linda Park. My name is Wally West. I'm the Flash? Yes, sir. Through that door to your left. Joan, hi. Linda and I got here as fast as we could after your call. What's wrong? You tell me. Somebody tell me something. What happened this morning? Her name is Joan Garrick. Her husband, Jay, is the man who began the Flash legacy. Earlier today, he and I passed the time making the world safe for democracy once again. A routine run for us. Or so I thought. Okay, here's everything I know. The new Green Lantern and I freed Jay and Alan, then trounced Alien X. Jay looked rough. At the time, I chalked that up to his age in the Arctic cold. Cheated of his revenge. Alien X took his own life, and in the aftermath, I forgot to ask about Jay. I'm sorry, Joan.
No need to be, Wally. Life passes too quickly for regrets.
Jay, what's the news?
He won't tell you, Wally. He's an obstinate old warhorse who's taken to hiding things in his golden years. How long have you been sick, Jay? What's wrong? And how long have you known? Answer me.
I've suspected for a little while. Now I know.
Man's body chemistry changes with age. Doc says that's why my hypermetabolism has been eating away at me for months. Says I'm undergoing a complete cellular degeneration. The bottom line is this. I'll be dead by morning. And run. Joan, forgive me. I wanted to tell you, but I kept thinking, kept hoping we'd find out it wasn't true. We've been down this road so many times, you and I. You thinking I was gone forever, and every time I've seen how it chipped away at you. I thought if I could spare you the worry of a false alarm, you'd be... Joan runs away in tears. Joan? Joan?
What is it with you Flashes and your secrets?
Joan says nothing. It is the most uncomfortable silence in the world, cut only by the slam of a door and the drone of a television. As these strange creatures are materializing worldwide.
What the hell?
Heralding an alien invasion of unprecedented scale. The news shows a portal opening over the White House. The first sighting manifested 1 hour ago, outside a diner in Georgetown, Virginia. Or rather, the White House Diner themed restaurant.
Witnesses were besieged by an unstoppable wave of bestial marauders. Though Georgetown reports no casualties as yet, danger is mounting. Already, dimensional portals have opened in New York, Africa, Japan, Scotland, and Los Angeles. Despite initial confusion, no one seems to know what these aliens are or where they come from. And while we have unconfirmed reports that superheroes worldwide are making every effort to stem this invasion, Superman fights back a group of the creatures as more pour through a portal. Clearly, Earth's defenders are outnumbered by the thousands. Wonder Woman gathers more with her lasso. With no declaration of intent, marching across our planet in a relentless wave, Aquaman and Martian Manhunter chase them under the sea. The nature of these creatures remains a deadly mystery that must be answered soon should mankind hope to survive. Captain Marvel flies to meet more as another portal opens. We go now to the President, who hopes to calm our fears. Familiar? Very much so. We got a glimpse of him aboard Alien X's ship. When? About the time he engaged in self-destruct? Sounds right. Now, what if Alien X wasn't enacting a fail-safe, but a summons? The next thing I hear is Jay's footsteps behind me as we cross the Arctic Circle. What's with him? He just said he has hours to live. He should be chasing down his wife, letting me worry about this. I'm almost mad at him. But I'm selfish, too. He's been like a grandfather to me. If he's going to die, if I can spend even 5 more minutes with him, I want to. Jay, what the doctor said. I'm sorry. Me too. So let's shut this thing down fast. I have a lot to attend to. And make up for. The Flashes arrive at the saucer. Ship's right where we left it. If we go in, maybe we can find some sort of plug to pull. The Green Lanterns soon join them. Sounds like a plan to me. We had the same notion. Hello, Jay. Alan, good. I was going to come looking for you. Well, swell. Sentinel I can deal with. He's one of Jay's old friends. Green Lantern Jr., on the other hand. Do you suppose any of this is our fault? I'm perfectly willing to blame you. Blame is wasted time. We simply didn't understand what Alien X was doing. Sadly, we didn't understand him at all. I'll weep for him later. Right now, we ought to investigate. We don't exactly have time to kill. About that. What? Nothing. Let's go. They all head inside. This isn't how we left this place. With every device up and running? Let's hope one of them is an information bank we can hack. Your do anything ring good for that? Not really. Then move. Clock's ticking. Let me take care of it. Wally races around to all the consoles. If I boot up everything in here, we're bound to come across some data. Finally, a button activates a holographic display showing one of the creatures. Good instinct. A gift of experience. Lantern, your predecessor could have translated this with his ring. Can you? Not really. No. Well, great. On the other hand, if you'll lighten the hell up, as an artist I'm pretty good at interpreting the visual and the abstract. Good, because I can't tell what we're looking at. Kyle observes the changing images. Pretty simple. These swarm aliens are like army ants or cockroaches. Not smart, just persistent. They poured in, overrun the surface of a world through sheer numbers, then, having engulfed their target world, move on to the next one. Unfortunately for us, Alien X knew how to get their attention. He targeted us. Then this is his ultimate revenge. Just as Earthlings destroyed his body with cancerous cells. He'll ravage our world with these monsters. Can we get to them? Cut them off? Now they get to us first. Incoming! Suddenly a portal opens in the ship. Step aside, Kiro. Alright, I know. I shouldn't be so willing to bust him. It's just that I've been a Flash since I was a boy. He's been a Green Lantern since Thursday. He doesn't seem to understand the value of a legacy. And today, of all days, The flashes hit the first creature through with flurries of punches.
That galls me. That away, bottleneck 'em, and I'll take care of the rest.
Kyle plugs up the portal.
A plunger? Best way to deal with spewing garbage. Take any more shots at me, I'll plop one in your mouth, capiche? Ooh, I'm scared. Try jealous. Of what? I wouldn't want to be you for—
Excuse me, children.
Ouch.
But that hardly solved our problem. It's us against an entire alien race. Jay, you look a little tired. Are you up for this?
I am. No! I mean, that portal's shrinking fast. I think Lantern and I should go through. Take the fight to its source. What? Well, you two put the word out. Contact the Justice League. Warn everyone what we're up against. And hurry!
Wally and Kyle leap through the portal together.
Wally, wait! Wally!
So that's our plan? Not exactly. Look outside. More portals. This whole crisis began with us, you know. All those years ago. It's not the kids' problem. It's ours. You want to make the leap as well. I want to put things right. Me too. Ready? Not quite. Be back in a second. Jay dashes off. He observes Joan while staying invisible by vibrating at super speed.
He won't talk to me anymore. He'll turn when I reach for him. He won't communicate at all. It's like I don't even know him. It's the disease, Joan. Clearly it's changed him. None of us realized how much. Enough to destroy what we once were. I'm angry with him, Linda. I hate him for this. But most of all, I realize just how much I will always love him. He's not with me now, but he'll be back to take my hand one last time. I'm certain of it. Sometimes, just sometimes, when I'm left wondering if this is the time he's not coming home, I sense him. I feel him with me.
Jay kisses Joan on the cheek as he speeds by.
And I know that one way or another, we'll be together forever. Oh.
He races back to the ship, finding Alan trying to corral the horde with a fire-breathing dragon.
Back, I say! Back! Jay, where are you?
The Flash cannonballs through the creatures, knocking them away like bowling pins.
Behind you, all the way. Like you have to ask. Having any luck? What do you think? It's like trying to push back the tide with a broom. The portals are disappearing. Last chance to take advice from the kids. And stay here? If we listened to that kind of talk in 46, Vandal Savage would be ruling the world. You sound hesitant. You're not chickening out on me, are you? We'll talk about it later. Then let's make sure there is a later. See you.
Alan and Jay fly through 2 separate portals.
On the other side.
The Flash crouches in an alien desert beneath 2 suns. Don't throw up. Don't throw up. Don't throw up. Some trip. Now, where am I? For that matter, who am? Oh, right. Duh. The Flash. Here to stop alien invaders. The trip really rattled me, but everything's coming back to me. On the horizon, looks like a citadel of some sort. Obviously my target. Get a move on. If I hustle, I should be there in about 3 hours? He tries to run, but stumbles. My speed! It's gone! How is that possible? Gravity's no different. Physics here are probably the same. The only thing that's killing me is the heat, which isn't helping one bit. Especially with his thick mask. Can't think straight enough to make any sense. Flash removes his mask. Underneath it is the face of Kyle Rayner, who thinks he is Wally West. I feel positively scrambled. Still, I remember enough to know we're on a tight deadline. I'll go as fast as I can manage. God, it would be so much easier if I could run. Or even fly, damn it! Meanwhile, the body of Wally West falls to the ground in Green Lantern's costume, all the while believing himself to be Kyle Rayner. Nothing. My ring couldn't light a cigarette, much less lift me off the ground. I know I charged it before we left.
So what's up with you? Way to go, Kyle. Stranded on an alien landscape and powerless. Make your way to that citadel. Maybe you can find some alien mother queen to eat you alive. May as well make the day complete. Heat's insufferable, and it's hard to breathe. Is it me? Or is the air itself thin? Asked and answered. That looks like it used to be flora of some sort. If the whole planet's like that, then the ecosystem is way screwy. No wonder these creature features were so anxious to start trawling our world. Can't believe I have to go the whole way on foot. Sure could use some super speed help about now, but that Yutz West is nowhere to be seen. Probably somewhere thinking up Green Lantern jokes at my expense. Why does Green Lantern wear red suspenders? To keep his ego up. Go easier on him, Wally. Besides, no sense wasting ammo when he's not even here to... That's right, so addled I almost forgot. He's supposed to be here with me, isn't he? As the man in the flash suit plods past a hill, a nest of the creatures begins to stir in a crater. For all I know, he could be halfway across the planet, just as powerless as me. Wonder what kind of time he's having. The man with the power ring is being overwhelmed by the scaly monsters. Ring still not responding. They begin to pile atop him. Can't fight them! Oh! Get off me! Maybe they just need a push. Allow me. A flaming green shield shoves them off. Alan, thank God! That voice and the hair? Wally, what's going on here? The uglies drained me dry. Feel like they sucked the life from me. Wally? Wally? Bad enough off as it is, Alan. No need to get insulting. Wally's a butthead, jealous because he had to work so hard at being accepted as a new kid, and me, not so much. Wally, Kyle, whoever you are, just relax. You are drained by those creatures. I know this. Jay's being eaten alive by a sickness. He's counting the hours. I'm not sure how I know this, but I do. What? The creatures! You were supposed to stay behind to warn Earth! God, you didn't bring Jay along. He hasn't got that much time left. Not as sick as he is. Alan? Alan, are you okay? I didn't mean to bring you down, man, but... Right behind you, he said. Right where he could hide. You can't hide now, Jay. Where are you, you stubborn old fool? Alan picks Wally up in a chariot and slashes across the sky with grim determination. Whoa! Nowhere. Fast. Kyle keeps trying to run across the desert. This is absurd. I'm not any closer to where I'm going than I was 20 minutes ago. I remember, it seems, a time when I could walk faster than... Huh? Finally, Jay finds him. What's wrong with you, youngster? You're making terrible time. Oh, I'm sorry. Mistaken identity. The suit switched through me. Whatever that's about. That, and the fact that I don't know you without the mask. Since when? Uncle Barry and I grew up under your wing, Jay. Uncle? I see I'm not the only one confused. You're no speedster, son. I'm what you might call an authority on flashes. Not today, Dad. I don't know why you don't recognize me, but take my word for it. I'm not who you think I am. Listen, I wish I could be more help looking around, but my ring is conked. Do you know what's wrong with it? Sure. It works only for Kyle. But I tell you, I'm repeating yourself and boring me. If you're going to prattle on, at least tell me more about Jay's illness. I don't remember any more details. Don't even know where I heard what I did. After all, I'm not that know-it-all Flash. I'm Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner. Got it. Soon as we can put you boys together, we're going to get to the bottom of that particular confusion. In the meantime, maybe it'll do you both some good to be in another's skins for a little bit. You're making my head hurt. A Wallyism. Kyle wouldn't say that. Use that knowledge. Learn from it. Get some perspective. I can see just fine. Look at that! Wally gaped at a sight seen over the cliff's edge. So Alan and I agree that you two kids just make us laugh. You remind us exactly of ourselves at your age. I thought you two were pals. Now, when we first met, and here's something we've never told anyone, we couldn't stand each other. I thought he was a showboater. He thought I was smug. No kidding. You too? Jay pulls on his collar. Jay, you okay? As can be expected. It's the heat, I think. I hope. What's that up ahead? Huh. If I were an artist or a designer, which you're not, being the Flash and all, I'd call it a temple. Doesn't appear to be from the same architectural school as a citadel in the distance. Regardless, it'll give you some shade. Let's take 5 and knock around. After you. Soon the 2 flashes come to a structure. Wild, a real Gothic revival influence to the design, said Wally West, the non-artist. And up here, look! Kyle admires a large statue of a bug-like alien. Clearly a religious icon of some sort. Some idol of lost worship. It is a church. The reverence in this room is almost palpable. Uh-oh. Alan and Wally overlook a broad plain covered in glittering gold. It's beautiful. What is it? It appears to be a field of amber gems. What it may signify, on the other hand, is beyond me. As long as my career has been, interdimensional travel has never really been my forte. I do know enough to be cautious, however. Wait, don't rush ahead. Sorry, can't help myself. And why is that? Maybe we can get a better look from... He misplaces a foot and tumbles down the hill. Wally! For the last... time, I'm not... Green Lantern rises covered in golden bug skeletons. No, not amber, but what are? Skeletons! Yow! Then spins as he freaks out. Get him off, get him off, get him off, get him off! Then runs back up the hill to Alan. Run, oh God, run! It's not a field, it's an open grave! Alan, did you see that? I saw a whirlwind in action, and so did you. Face facts, kid. Either you're the fastest Green Lantern alive, or I'm the Flash. I am! I'm the Flash! But if I am, then where's Green Lantern? Over here, in the shadows. I thought I saw this one move. Kyle shows Jay one of the golden bugs wearing a cloak. A native, I presume. He looks in rough shape. What's that around his neck? A medallion in the shape of the statue idol. Maybe that marks him for a priest. And maybe that doesn't matter, unless it puts him any closer to his god. I hope so. He's gone. The life force sucked right out of him. Can you imagine? That's what the aliens want to do to us back home. There has to be a way to stop them. And where there's a will and willpower, there's always a way. That's the first thing I learned as Green Lantern. Looking for something? My ring. Where's my ring? Can't say for sure, but I can guess who has it. Let's go find it. It'll be nice working with you, GL. Jay and Kyle head for the alien citadel. We have to motor. We're looking at the looming fate of everyone on Earth. I want some answers about how to squash these parasites. Only one place to find answers. Dead ahead. Race you. You're on! Alan and Wally speed towards it from the other direction. See anyone familiar, Wally? Strangely enough. Yes, a sharp suit on a dull wit. Red's not your color, man. Well, look what the real hero dragged in. If you're so fast, how come we were the first ones here? Kyle yanks his ring off Wally's hand. Give me that. Like it's my fault? You owe me an explanation. About? Don't play dumb. How much time do you think you have, anyway? Using the ring, Kyle switches their costumes. Much better. Glad the ring still works. I was worried you'd bust it. And that's the story, Alan. I'm sorry you had to hear it like this. I'm sorry either of us had to hear it at all. Jay, whatever happens to you, it's not going to happen here, so far away from home. I swear it. Boys, let's carve to the heart. GL, did you and Jay learn anything about the aliens? Both Flashes and GLs entered the Citadel. Sure, they're parasites. We saw their effect. I can top that. I had a brush with them, literally. Brief as it was, I was left feeling like 5 miles of bad road. They're ingesting life force energy. The question is then, are they storing it, or are they somehow sending it somewhere else? I'm willing to take a guess at the latter. After all, check that out.
Before them is a large cavern filled with a gigantic mass of writhing pink matter. Hello, Mama. Is it me or no? It's definitely growing bigger with every pulsation. Clearly this is the main brain, the mother alien. She's feeding off the life force her kids suck down. Shouldn't be hard to get to her. She's unguarded. Guess again. She must have sensed the presence of intruders. She's calling her boys home. A swarm of the scaly monsters rush at the heroes. Kyle bulldozes them back with a large plow. As if the odds aren't stacked enough. Assuming for a moment that we each take, 100,000 of these crawlies, will that get us out of the woods? Alan swings a mace, while the flashes punch the creatures at speed. Unlikely. Check out Mom. Looks like even if we bag her boys, she'll just make more. The pink mass begins to form more of them. Will she? For once in your life, West, take a second to look more closely. Baby boy looks kinda shrimpy. The main mass is running out of raw material. The heroes keep up the assault as more monsters crowd in. First good news I've heard all day. Second, 'cause think about this. If they're coming back in droves, that means we're luring them away from Earth. Not the perfect way to thwart an alien invasion, since we'll probably be, killed and all, but maybe we'll buy our world some time. The 4 of us. Until Jay collapses again. 4? Try 3! Back me up! Jay needs help! The Green Lanterns wall off a safe area with bars and flames. I'm not done fighting yet. Want to see this thing through. And you will. I swear. We'll come up with something. Kyle formed a brick wall around them. How many options do we have available to us? I count 1 we haven't examined. Like it or not, we may have to kill the Queen Mother. And thus an entire alien race? Unacceptable. Didn't you get the handout? These things are a cancer. Cancer isn't malevolent. It just is. We can't punish them just for following their nature. Heads up, boys. She's found a new strategy. She's swelling, bulking up by reabsorbing her own offspring? The pink mass grows as the creatures stream into it. It gets worse. Apparently that's not sating her appetite. She's still hungry. Suddenly the heroes are covered in a wave of goo. A huge green drill bursts through the surface, clearing an area. What was that all about? Wait, I think I know. She's lashing out. She's in pain. I can hear her. Say what? It's a psychic vibration. Open your mind. It's wide. Nada. Are you sure you're not hallucinating? I don't hear. Wait, I get it. Because of our vibrational powers, Jay and I are more naturally attuned to her transmissions. And what we're feeling is one concentrated emotion. As we suspected, this race is one enormous group mind. More creatures flood into the growing mass. Sniffing out for some explanation as to what's causing its sudden pain. Us, right? Now it sees us as bacteria? Mom finds a way to brush us away, boys. We're goners. The mass rises to the height of a building before them. I don't want to kill it any more than you guys, but maybe there's no other way. Just say the word. Kyle readies his power ring.
Over my dead body.
That's it, Jay. Give it ideas. The alien lashes out towards Jay, knocking the others away. 3 of us are young and hot. We can stay clear of Mom a while longer. Jay, on the other hand, is at her mercy. It forms spiked tendrils and snapping jaws as it draws closer. Maybe Lantern is right. Maybe there is only one way to save ourselves. Maybe we should take her life. If only so Jay can get home and end his life in peace. Maybe. The younger Flash vibrates through the alien pseudopod, severing the dangerous ends.
She's starting to thrash wildly. The harder we fight, the more worked up she gets. Think about it. If the ants under our feet pushed back, they'd have our attention. They'd give us a conscience. That's what's happening here. We're forcing this thing out of denial.
and she doesn't like it. Every time we cause her pain, interrupt her plans, we're letting her know she can't ignore us. She's not used to that. Keep at it.
Stirred by Jay's words, the other heroes tear into the sea of thrashing pink goo. Kyle with a ship's prow.
Yeah.
Alan with a giant sword. And Wally with a tornado attack.
Listen to me, whatever you are. Believe me, I know what it's like to have something gnawing away inside of you, waking you up to reality. You fight and fight against it because you don't want to accept your own mortality and take stock of how you've lived.
The instant Wally moves, Kyle forms a huge buzzsaw in his place. While Alan turns up the heat.
You're forced to look at all those around you, great and tiny, the hurt and suffering you've caused them over the years, all the times you haven't been there for them, and you want desperately to say that, in the grand scheme, those little hurts don't matter.
The elder Green Lantern rolls a spiked wheel one way as the younger slashes the other with scissors.
But they do. Every life counts. No one, no matter how insignificant, deserves to be hurt or ignored.
The younger Flash bats clean up, racing around the edges of the Lantern's attacks and maximizing their effect.
No life is worth living if it is a life without conscience and without communication. I know that now, and so do you.
Finally, the alien seems to rear up and take notice of Jay's words, or at least the emotion behind them.
Watch out! She's opening another rift!
Oh God! She's... One massive portal opens directly above the alien entity, and it swirls up towards it in a column.
Leaving?
Huh? Soon, the pink mass is gone. Where did she go? Good Lord, not to Earth!
No, wherever she went, she'll do no harm. At least, not for a while.
How do you know?
That psychic vibe we felt was a two-way street, Wally. I heard her, and she heard me, at least, in a sense. She sent me what you might call a sympathetic vibration. We didn't save this world, or the ones before it, but maybe, just maybe, we saved the next one.
The four heroes head outside. Good. I sure hope it's a world with limos, because we're gonna need one. Not to bring the room down, but does anyone have any idea how we're supposed to get home? Kyle points to the horizon. I think she left the keys to her car. Transportation's been provided, maybe even in lieu of an apology?
4 portals, one for each of us. Why not simply one big one?
It's obvious. Put your mind to it. She wants us to go through individually. The aliens are of one group mind, and fully interchangeable. When they teleport, the reassembly process isn't precise, because it doesn't have to be. Her teleportation scrambles and homogenizes the creatures. They have no individuality. Who would notice? Jay and I were fine because we came through singly. The boys, on the other hand,
Popped out mixed up.
because we made the trip together, which gives Jay one hell of a long shot. Here's what we're going to do, old friend. If I leap through beside you, there's a chance enough of my healthy cells, perhaps even my magic energy, will mingle with yours to cure you.
You're right. That could just happen. It could work. And what's equally likely is that my withered cells could infect yours. And that's a risk I won't take.
Jay Garrick, the Flash, dashes away from his friend, running as fast as his body can manage.
Jay!
Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, rockets after him the instant he's able to respond.
Jay, wait!
Before I can even blink, they're gone. 2 of the finest men I know. One praying to outrace death. A second later, Jay is nearly halfway to the portal as Alan catches up to his dust. The other with a willpower that has never been stronger. Alan gains more ground as Jay strains for speed. By the time Kid Lantern and I spring into motion, Wally and Kyle finally start forward. Their race is all but run. And it's going to go down to the wire. Alan is only feet behind Jay when he speaks.
Go away, Alan. Leave me be. I won't let you do this. You're my friend. Your best friend, Jay. Now and for the rest of our lives.
They are neck and neck as they near the portal.
Too slow, Alan. You're safe, you damn fool. Nice try. See you on the other side.
Suddenly Jay stumbles, wincing in pain.
Jay!
At the last second, Alan grabs him. And they fly through the portal as one. Later, back at the hospital. So, what's the word? None yet.
I don't feel a day over 60. Alan?
Me? I feel great, as you both should. I can't explain it, but Mr. Garrick's disease has completely vanished. His cells are vital, almost magically charged. Mr. Scott's tests are negative as well. Gentlemen, medical science can't possibly explain what you did, but whatever it was, it worked. Alan pulls Jay into a hug. You want to hug me? Don't even think about it. Look at them, Jay. Just like us. You mean you two?
Hated each other. At first. Didn't last. That kind of stuff never does. Flashes and Green Lanterns are meant to be friends. You two buttheads will figure that out, sooner or later. And when you do, you just may be the greatest team of all. End.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this team-up story, and just maybe a few fans would like to cross over as well. If you're a Flash fan, you're in luck because I have a ton of Green Lantern stories up. But if you're a GL fan looking for more Flash, all I can say for now is stay tuned. I mentioned the Flash terminal velocity a bit here, and as that was one of the first Flash stories I ever got into, I think it'll make a fine example of what the book was like in the 90s. Terminal velocity was the Flash's turn to have a big shakeup following the death of Superman, Nightfall, Emerald Twilight, Aquaman losing his hand, and so on. And he escaped as one of the most unscathed, actually. Though it was a very close thing, as it often is when one can move between the ticks of a second. Basically, Wally's powers were changing his body into something not quite human, and he was afraid he might merge with the Speed Force like Barry, or vanish some other way. And the worst part was the more he used his powers to do his job as the Flash, the faster the transformation was happening. On top of that, he had a vision of Linda dying in the future he was determined to prevent, even if it meant losing himself in the process. It was a grand Flash adventure that involved all the speedsters such as Jay, Jesse Quick, Impulse, and Max Mercury, and introduced the whole world of the Flash to me. So expect that to anchor a series of more Flash stories to come in the future, as I loved both Morrison and Mark Waid's run on the comic. As for Alan Scott, he might have an episode coming up sometime as well. Shortly after this story, Green Lantern Heart of Darkness would roll around, and Alan would have to meet with and fight the Starheart for his life and the lives of his children, and the issue of his powers and his youth would be settled at last. It's an important event in the larger Green Lantern mythos, as Alan would be a very important character in that book in the future, always on hand to offer Kyle advice and a different perspective on the job, and more often than not a little extra firepower as well. Alan Scott and Jay Garrick were perhaps the most well-known vestiges of the JSA and their era in the 90s, and they kept that memory alive until the JSA would eventually be revived under Jeff Johns for a brand new era, framed as the older heroes training a new generation, much as they ended up doing here. So let this serve as a reminder to all of us that, while it's no guarantee that age will grant wisdom, it very often does at least grant experience, and there's no better soil to find wisdom growing in. So listen to your own elders, because they just might have a thing or two that's well worth passing on. Alright, that'll do it for this one. So everyone, take care out there. And, as always, thanks for watching.